Thank you. My name is David Power. I'm the Coordinator of Economic Development and Tourism at Mitchell Shire Council, and I'm here to talk to you today about our Shop Local campaign, the Mitchell Crowd, Live Local, Shop Local. So we cover the townships of Wallen, Kilmore, Broadford and Seymour. We sit just north of Melbourne, and we're unique in the fact that we have kind of a north-south divide in terms that the southern part of our shire is now basically a Melbourne suburb and the northern part is quite rural. That brings with it some positive and negatives. We have positive population growth, but we also have got a lot of escape spend as a result of that. We've had a lot of people who've done the tree change, who've moved to a township like Wallen, bought their house and their land package, but also still have kept all their life down in Melbourne. So they're basically only sleeping in Wallen. What that has done is it's created, I suppose, our shopping precincts have kind of frozen in time in terms of that people don't want to invest in it, the local traders, because they're not guaranteed that they're going to get the support from the local community. So we got grant funding from the state government for revitalising rural retail in Kilmore, Main Street funding. From that, we did a surveying the community and surveying local businesses, and from that we had about a 63% response rate from the survey, which is the highest I've ever seen in terms of a survey. But what came from that is people wanted to see a revitalised rural retail precinct, and they also they wanted to see a Shop Local campaign, which we're already organising. Now, when I first started at Mitchell, it was on my work plan to do a Shop Local campaign. My director kept saying, you're going to have to do a Shop Local campaign at some point. Kept pretending I didn't hear. I was trying to avoid it because they have a lot of, they get a lot of rap. It's hard to kind of do when that has an impact. It's hard to measure the outcomes from it. It's hard to see where you spend the money, what the benefit is from that. They do absorb quite a lot of money, and usually it's an advertising campaign. So most of your money is going on things like local newspapers, radio, and television, and things like that. We don't have radio stations that cover the whole shire. We don't have a newspaper that covers the whole shire. So I would have to do every ad 3-4 times over, which I wasn't willing to do. So we ran a Shop Local campaign in 2009 where kids could go into a local shop and they have a passport and they get a stamp each time they make a purchase, and we did some car stickers as well, and it didn't really gather any momentum, and it was over pretty much within 2 weeks. So this year I decided to do something different. Shop Local campaign, first thing you think of is, right, the idea is to get people to shop local, but what has to happen first? And for me it was changing buyer behaviour, it was changing that attitude first. And how do you do that? How do you change someone's attitude? It's through education. So what we decided to do was do a Shop Local campaign with grade 5 students in all primary schools in the Shire. So we developed these characters, the Mitchell Crowd, and I'll show you a video later on, but I teamed up with the Broadford Primary School when they got back in 2014 and said, this is what I want to do, this is my plan, I want to go in and teach the kids about shopping locally and why it's important for their local community. And the principal turned around and said to me, well, what do I get out of it? You're spending all this money on a local campaign, what does the school get from it? Didn't really have an answer for him. I didn't think I had to pay the principal as well out of my budget, but basically he said to me, if you want to get into school, the best thing to do is to make it part of the curriculum. If you make it part of the curriculum, it means that the teacher doesn't have to turn around and cover that topic as well. So I sat down with went to an all-staff meeting in the Broadford Primary School, explained the concept, and they decided that it fitted with grade 5 students. And I fitted in with persuasive and narrative learning. So persuasive being convincing someone to shop local, and then the narrative, the kids being able to actually retell that story after the lesson to somebody else. So I worked with the teachers to develop, well, what would the lesson be and how would it all look like from start to finish. We decided to utilise our youth council, so they actually went in and taught the programme to each of the grade 5s. That was getting young people working with other young people. It was also giving them the opportunity, because they're 16 and 17, when they finish school, if they want to be a teacher, what is it like. I have a lot of respect for teachers after this. We've often had 300 grade 5s in the one room at the same time. Trying to control that is pretty hard. So what I'll do is I'll show you the video now.
The Mitchell Crowd shop local. Meet the Mitchell Crowd. Handy, foodie, fashionista, sporty and hipster. They like to shop local. Let's follow a typical day with the Mitchell Crowd and see how many people benefit from shopping locally. The day starts with fashionista taking a stroll to the local fashion boutique, where she stocks up on the latest trends and picks out a super outfit for the night. She then goes to the local hair salon to get her do updated by Sharon. and on to Tracy's nail salon to get her nails done. She then visits the mobile phone store to buy some mobile credits so she can upload some selfies of her new fabulous outfit on Instagram. Meanwhile, Sporty whips into Seymour's sporting goods store on his scooter that he bought from the local skate store, where he picks up a new helmet and knee pads. He then goes into Seymour Sports and Aquatic Centre and plays basketball with some friends. They go to the Wandong laser tag to play a round or two. Then afterwards at the shoe store, he buys some new Chuck Taylors. Outside, Hipster rides his bike that he bought at Total Sport to the local news agency, where he reads the latest copy of Moustaches Monthly over an organic latte from the cafe. And then he goes on to Wallen Salvo's, where he finds some totally decked skinny jeans, circa 1980, and buys a totally awesome pair of Doc Martens at Boutique Shoes. And then goes on to Jim's barber to have his moustache trimmed. And over to Seymour Optometrist to pick out some new groovy Nana glasses. Foodie begins the day at the local markets and finds some beautiful local produce sourced from Jim's farm down the road. And visits Bob the butcher, where he picks out some prime local Wagyu steaks. He then goes to Stoody's Bakehouse, where he scoffs a meat pie and washes it down with some locally produced apple juice from Lucy's orchard. At Seymour Garden Centre, he picks out some herbs to plant in his kitchen garden. And at Jack's grocery store, he finds Mary's homemade pasta sauce. Yum. We catch up with Handy on his way to Broadford Timber and Hardware, where he finds a new shiny hammer to add to his collection. Then to Broadford Builder Supplies, where he picks out some new water saver taps for his latest DIY project. He then goes on to Kilmore Florist to buy some flowers. And on to Wallen Gift Store, where he picks up a beautiful vase for his mum's birthday. We finish the day off with our Mitchell crowd meeting up at one of the many local great restaurants, where they share a delicious pizza. And top the night off in Tubarak at the local music festival. Now let's see how many people have benefited from this day of shopping. 28. You see, money that is spent in town goes back in to make the town a better place. If we spend our money in our local town centre, the money goes back into the streets to make them prettier and more vibrant, and they can prosper and grow. This ultimately makes Mitchell Shire a better place to be, with more choice, creating and keeping jobs local. So come on and join the Mitchell crowd and support your local traders.
So what we did in this is we created the 5 stereotypical characters. One, so that you could relate to the kids could relate to the personality, but also it's 5 different ways of spending money. So whichever category or whatever you're buying, it falls into one of these categories. So there has been, I suppose, some comments about that there's one female character. Again, she's the centre character, but also I think she does an important role because she's, while she's getting her hair done and her nails done, and some might say, well, that's you're boxing in genders and things like that. It's also supporting local traders, because you have local hairdressers, local beauticians who are, professional trades, but also those are things that you're more likely to do locally than you do anywhere else. So I would like to point out at this point that we are up for a Melbourne Design Award, which we find out tomorrow. We're a finalist at the moment for it with this. And we're also up for an Economic Development Excellence Award for community economic development as well, with the Youth Council being involved in that as well. So we find out at the end of October for that too. So we're chuffed at Mitchell about that. So these are some of the posters that the kids produced us too here. So you have, I don't have long to go, love, live and shop local. So, and the Drew and old lady, we have help the town and shop inbound. So these are 2 on another 2. Then you have love and local and shop local and help locals. We have obviously an abundance of posters. So what we're doing is the Mitchell crowd will be offering a 1st, 2nd and 3rd prize to the pairs of the kids across all schools for the top posters. They'll deliver a life-size cheque with first prize, second and third on it. Also what we're doing with these posters is we'll be displaying them in local shop windows. The idea of that is to get the local feet on the street, to get the kids out looking, nag mentality, to go home to their parents, bring me to shop, my poster is up. And hopefully they'll make a purchase as well. So again, it keeps it live on the main street. It goes beyond the school. The kids also at the end of the lesson get a shop local goodie bag with the characters on it. The bag is made out of recycled plastic bottles. It's printed on both sides. They also get a car sticker and some bookmarks with each of the characters on it, and kind of products and stuff that represent those characters. And they also get a youth card with youth services numbers on the back, so helplines, different things like that. On the front then they have discounts for local stores as well. That was developed by our youth services team. And they also get a shopping list fridge magnet to stick to their fridge. Also with these characters, the idea is that each of them can be developed out further if the programme runs for more years. So you have Foodie who could have his own recipe book where where you can buy local produce, what it is and where you can buy it as well, and you can develop each character out in that way. To keep the project going, it was launched originally in July, on the 18th of July in Broadford Primary School at an all school assembly. So here we are here. There is some council staff in that. I don't know if you could pick them out because we are all so young. So that's the first launch that we did. This is the launch in Seymour College. Our mayor ran each of the launches as well and got involved with the kids. He has his own t-shirt as well. So you can see they're very enthusiastic. There are 80 kids in the one go. And then this is last week in Wallen Primary School as well. So we had support from the local chambers as well. And also local businesses, and then our youth council as well were at each launch as well. We promoted on these signs stay up permanently when there's nothing else in these slots for events on the way into town. We also got all of our advertising for free because after we'd done each of the launches, we did 3 altogether, the papers covered it. So we got quite a bit of coverage. We got some coverage on the community radio as well because, again, it was something different. The kids had already, so from July to our last launch, there was 4 months. So the kids in the south had already heard about the characters and the bags and all that they were going to get this coming to their school at some point, and they already knew about it. So to me, that was good that it was working and that the word was out there about shopping locally as well. We also had the local bus company sponsored the programme as well, and Seymour Coaches they paid for the purchase and the design of these posters, and they're also putting them on the back of their buses for the next 12 months. These are the school buses as well that operate all across the Shire, so the kids were seeing it on their own school bus as well, when they sitting outside the school when they came out every day as well. So just reinforcing that message again. That's something I don't think I'll be able to answer this year. I don't think doing a shop local campaign like this will generally this year make people shop local. I think it has to be ongoing, and that over time you change attitudes to shopping locally. So we have committed to doing it each year. Obviously most of the cost is done now in the design of the programme, so now it's just reprints of the bags. And I think it will take a while because of where we are. It's so easy to go down to Epping and Craigieburn town centre and do your shopping all under one roof there. So it's trying to change that attitude, and that's what the aim of the programme is. And that, I suppose, is the difficulty as well in speaking with the local business and the local chambers. They were happy for it not to be, to go in and, all right, suddenly next week everybody's going to be shopping local. They wanted an education programme when I explained that this is what we're going to do because they believed it'll have more long-term effect for them. Yes, and that was probably one of my biggest challenges. So I was walking around Kilmore saying that I'm going to design this programme and we have 5 million looking characters, one fashionista, one hipster. In my Irish accent, they thought I was a bit stone mad. So that was kind of, they couldn't see what I was trying to do. So I had to kind of develop a certain amount of it first, so I had something to show them. After the first launch in Broadford, I was inundated with calls through the mayor for people wanting to get involved and to offer money. The local business, because they were parents of the kids at the local school, so they were at the all school assemblies on Fridays, so the parents are invited as well. And then it is just, there's only 2 of us, it's myself and my colleague Hayley, that are economic development tourism. So to try and go out and target every business and try and contact them and tell them and explain what we're doing was quite difficult. But in the end, we got 10 grand in sponsorship on top of our budget that we had it set aside for the campaign, and that's only people I approached. They all said yes, and they all gave me a certain amount each. So that's how we got them on board. We got the local chambers on board as well, so the idea for them was to promote the idea to local businesses. But now when you go through, you see the car bumper sticker in all the shop windows as well.